So I'm in downtown Ventura right now, and what I'm doing is I'm walking around looking for some painting inspiration. So right now I don't have anything in particular in mind that I actually want to do a painting of, so I'm really wide open to ideas. So all I'm really doing is just looking around and seeing if something jumps out at me that gives me some inspiration. So my only real goal for today is to pick some challenging subject matter. So if I pick out a subject that's really easy for me to do a painting of, and then I go home and I do that painting, yeah, I mean, that can be rewarding. But if I pick out some subject matter that's really challenging for me, something that maybe I have my doubts as to whether or not I can actually do a painting of it, and then I do that painting, it's actually much more rewarding to me to do a painting like that rather than something that's easy. So anyway, I'm gonna keep walking around and see if I can find a little bit of inspiration here. Okay, so I took a few pictures. I didn't take a ton of pictures, but hopefully I've got enough where I can actually find one that I want to do a painting of. I don't need a whole bunch that turned out good, just one really. So I do like this building behind me, so I took some pictures of the building. It's actually the building that's the restaurant Le Mans East Sol, which I already did a painting of the inside of the restaurant. So I figured, well, I really like the building, so I could definitely do a picture of the outside, and I actually like this angle of the building right here. So I also took some other pictures here in this area. This is the Ventura Theater behind me, by the way, and I've already done a picture of the Ventura Theater in the entrance. And I have one on the outside that's not finished yet, but I can still finish it, and then I've got that painting too. So across the street from Le Mans East Sol, there's a bus there, so those buses are loud. But anyway, Dargan's is behind me, and I really like Dargan's, so I took some pictures of Dargan's. Now ideally, I might want to paint a picture of Dargan's with some people out front, but you know, I like the look of the building, so I could definitely do a painting of Dargan's with no people. So as I was down here taking some pictures, I actually took some pictures of the other corner of this area right here where Starbucks is. Now, I've never thought to myself, hey, I want to do a picture of Starbucks. Never thought that. I lean towards painting places that have maybe a little more history, or like a little bit more places where I'm more interested in, that I feel like other people might be more interested in. But hey, I like Starbucks, and I like this Starbucks right here. And I also really like Blenders in the Grass, and that's next to it. So the reason that I took the pictures is because there was actually quite a few people over there, and it just seemed like activity. So I actually took pictures, and there's definitely some possibilities there to do a painting. Like I say, I've never really wanted to do a painting of Starbucks before, but hey, if the picture looks good and it seems like I could turn it into a painting, I'll definitely consider doing it. So I did end up choosing one of the Starbucks Blenders in the Grass pictures, and I'm going to show you guys the pictures and why I made the choice that I made. So a few of these had some definite potential. This was actually my second favorite. There's just subtle differences, but this was actually a close second behind the one that I picked. And I think, you know what it was having this lady here in dark colors in front of this yellow pillar actually adds a lot to this picture that some of the other ones just don't have. And sometimes vehicles get in the pictures, and that's because I'm taking the pictures kind of quick, and that just happens. But all I really need is one picture, so I do get a lot that I just can't use. Now, this is the one that I ended up choosing, and the main difference between this one and this one is these people right here add a lot to this picture that this one just doesn't have. And I mentioned that I wanted to do a challenging painting. So the question is why is this challenging? Well, I don't do good lettering and oil paint. I'll just throw that right out there. Starbucks is not going to be written perfectly in any way. In fact, it's going to be a challenge for me to even write Starbucks in oil paint at all. So that's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to do the best that I can, but it's going to be far from perfect. Blenders in the grass is basically going to be unreadable just because at this angle it's going to be extremely difficult in oil paint to do anything with the blenders in the grass writing. Also, the Starbucks logo is going to be extremely challenging in oil, and it's going to be very small on the canvas, so that's not going to look accurate either. I'm just going to do the best that I can with it. So it is challenging, and then painting these people very small is going to be very, very challenging. So anyway, I'm up for the challenge, so I'm going to print it out and see what I can do with it. So I wanted to stop for a minute and explain a little bit about how I'm doing this painting. So what I've done is I covered the entire canvas with a very light coat of oil paint. Now I don't always paint like this. This is just one style that I have. But the reason that I chose to do it this way with this particular canvas is because right in the middle there's a lot of the really light yellow color. So I figured it'd be just easier for me to paint the entire middle part the yellow to start. And with the sky, it's actually a very, very light blue, almost a white. But with skies, I don't paint what I see, I just paint what I want. And same with roads. I don't really paint what I see in the picture, I just paint the road how I want to paint it. So I do take a lot of artistic liberty just to paint really what I want to paint and not exactly what I see. And that's what makes it fun for me. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start defining the shapes and sort of start working on the painting. Now the nice thing about oil paint is that it's really wet right now. So if I put, say, a window in the wrong spot, I can easily move that window and adjust things. So right now, all I'm going to do is just kind of what I call like rough in the painting. Just kind of put everything where it's basically supposed to go. And then as I start looking at it and looking at the canvas, I can move things and adjust things and fine tune things as I go. Now this painting's probably going to take 3 to 4 days, maybe a fifth. I hope not, but it could go that far. We'll see. So what happens is overnight the paint's going to tack up a little bit, and then it makes it easier for me to add more paint and darken things up or lighten things up. Because with oil paint, it doesn't fully dry overnight. It just tacks up a bit, which makes it easier for me to really work on the painting over, say, 3 to 4 days. It's much easier than trying to get the painting done in one day. I can just do a much better job if I spend a few days on it. I need to go make some coffee. Oh, so Woolie's hungry. He's waiting for his food. So I'm gonna give him some food. But anyway, so I've got a few different kinds of coffee right here, but I actually bought this because I'm doing the Starbucks painting. Now, my favorite thing about this kind of Starbucks coffee is this 71 on here, and that's actually my birth year. So normally I'd buy the beans and grind them, but the beans were actually more expensive than the ground, so I bought the ground. Get Woolie's food. Look at him over there. He's really hungry. See that? He's a really hungry guy. So there's a reason that people like Starbucks coffee so much, and that's because the coffee is actually really good. So beginning day 3 on the painting now, I really wanted to make a lot more progress yesterday, and I was prepared to paint until late into the night if I could have. But the problem is that even really late in the evening, the paint was just still too slippery, and it wasn't tacky enough for me to really do the kind of details that I wanted to do. So as I would go to put the paint on, it just wasn't quite sticking good enough in the finer details. I mean, obviously it was sticking enough, but I just couldn't define the lines as clearly as I wanted to. So now, day 3, this painting is ready to go, and I'm finally ready to make really good progress on it. So I'm hoping that by drinking some of this Starbucks coffee, it'll really get me in the mood, and I'll be able to really make some good progress on the painting today.
When the clouds roll low and my bones are cold, when the skies bleed and I'm on my knees, you are all I need. If I've fallen through and I'm broke in two, if I'm caught beneath and I still can't breathe, you are all I need.
So it's Sunday, March 10th, and I'm about to begin work on the 4th day of the painting. So I'm having a little Starbucks coffee just to really get me in the mood. So overall, I'm really happy with the way the painting's going. I actually did better on the letters than I thought I could, and I still have a little more fine tuning to do on the letters, but overall, I like the way they look. So the logo is not going to be perfect. It's just too small, and with oil paint, there's no way that I can get all the details perfect. So the logo is going to be far from perfect, but overall, I'm happy with the way it's going. I just have to tune it up a bit. So anyway, I'm just going to keep at it and hopefully maybe get it done today, maybe not, but I'm going to get it as far as I can today. Okay, so I'm about to begin the 5th day of work on the painting, and I really didn't want to have to work on it a 5th day. I was really hoping to be done with it by the end of the 4th day, and really there's not a whole lot left to do. It's just small details at this point. But one of the things that I do as I'm finishing up a painting is I'll take a picture of it, and then I'll look at the picture, and a lot of times I see things that I just don't see by sitting here looking at the painting. And even when I stand back from the painting and look at it, there's certain things that I just don't see that I see a lot better by looking at a picture of it. So I won't be able to record this part because I'm going to be using my phone to take pictures and then do the final details. So what I do is I take a picture and I say, okay, I've got to fix this one detail right here. So I'll fix whatever that detail is. Then I'll take another picture and then I'll say, okay, I've got to fix this over here. So I'll fix whatever it is over here. And then I'll just keep taking pictures and fixing details. So a lot of times I take 10 or 15 or even more pictures as I'm doing the final details. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And then once I'm all done and I get it to a point where I've taken it far enough, then I'll zoom in on it so you guys can take a closer look at it.